And this is the view from that cabin window, and yeah, it's getting a little bit big out there.
Getting real choppy out there.
This morning's seas are very rough, and so is my throat. It's one of the downsides of cruising, is that when a virus goes through the ship, everyone tends to get it. So I think I'll be resting up a bit today. Today we've arrived in Bermuda after 7 full days at sea. We were supposed to stop in the Azores about 5 days ago, but were unable to berth because of big swells and strong winds. So it's certainly been a marathon. The last few days have been an absolute nightmare. I've only just come good today, but the virus I picked up went downhill, and I ended up in the ship's hospital on a drip with bacterial pneumonia. Certainly not a great experience, and the learning exercise out of that was for next time to have a pneumonia vaccination, which I believe is good for about 5 years. But anyway, back to the travel stuff. Bermuda is a beautiful place. I was here a couple of years ago. It is an overseas territory of the UK, but they use the US dollar as their base currency. And it is regarded as, last time I checked, the most expensive country on earth. So certainly not the place you come for a cheap holiday. But today we're going to have a good look around and enjoy the sights. We're on a ferry heading over to Hamilton, the capital of Bermuda now, heading away from the ship. We're coming into dock in the main capital of Hamilton, and this is just a beautiful place. It's as picturesque as you'll get anywhere. Looks like a bit of a catastrophe here. We've got a raging bushfire on Bermuda. Today we've arrived at the Bahamas. This is Great Stirrup Key, which is a private island owned by Norwegian. It's a really good option, simple option today because it's just a beach day for us. The Bahamas are a small group of islands located only about 50 miles from Miami, and not much in the way of industry at all. They rely on tourism pretty much exclusively, and their main export, believe it or not, is rock lobsters. So we'll have a good look around on the island, but not much planned for today at all. There's the Norwegian sun sailing off to its next port with the setting sun behind it. Pretty spectacular sunsets in this part of the world, that's for sure. Well, today we've arrived in Miami. Been here a few times before. So we've just come down to the Bayside Markets, which is where the canal cruises go from, which is a really good thing to do if you want to go and look at all the houses for the rich and famous. Yeah, we've got an early start back, early departure, 1:30 today. So we're just going to have a look around here for a while, and then we'll head down to South Beach. This is the Versace mansion on South Beach. This is where Versace was murdered, coming down for breakfast on the steps. Some drug-fueled lunatic shot him and he died on the spot. This is the famous South Beach, and it stretches on for miles. It's super wide, but the sand is very fine, but not as good as our sand. I think that's about as big as the waves ever get to. It's like a bay. A couple of good examples here of the Art Deco style architecture from the 1950s, still right along the strip of South Beach, very prevalent. So we come to our final port of the cruise. It's New Orleans, of course, and we've come to the most famous place for breakfast, Cafe du Monde. And the famous specialty here is beignets, which are like a donut, I believe. And also they have this chicory coffee that's quite famous as well. So the cruise was quite an adventure. To anyone who's planning a transatlantic cruise, what I would say is it's really for hardcore cruisers. It's a long, long way, and there's a lot of big seas and so forth. But we had a great time. We had really good weather in the ports we went to, and the ship itself, the Getaway, the restaurants were great, the entertainment was great, and but their organisation could be well and truly improved. Anyway, time to order. Never seen so much powdered sugar on anything in my life. Don't even know where to start here. All right. Holy hell. They're delicious. That's like the best donut ever. Covered in icing sugar. Most people here. Terrible. This is what happens to amateurs when they don't know how to eat the local food. Look at that sleeve. Lift your sleeve up. That's a disgrace. Okay. Life ban. Life ban. Never get back. Idiot. Get out of the way. And here we are at the mighty Mississippi River, and it's so wide, it's, I don't know, maybe half a kilometre wide here. It's amazing. We're heading on a paddle steamer up the Mississippi River. Just what you want to do the day you come off a 19-day transatlantic cruise.
empty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry.
So here's Michael about to try his first ever char grilled oyster. We're about to see a grown man cry, I think. They are incredible. It's amazing that he's never tried one before because he did live in the US. And he got in just in time because he's about 90 years old, so he hasn't got much longer. And how does that rate out of 10? 10 out of 10. There we go. 10 out of 10. This is the #1 restaurant in the city.
He came to the Garden District, and his name was Pietro Amati. Now, you did? Okay. They're very welcoming. They're very nice, but they're called petticoat stairs. Petticoat stairs. And the idea behind it was that, you know, the woman had to walk up one side of the stairs. Now, sir, what side of the stairs did the woman have to walk up?
Yeah, okay, right side.
What side?
Right side.
The right side. Now why? Because the woman is always right. That's exactly right.
Good education.
I've learned something.
Come on.
Good education.
Yeah.
There's only 3 styles of architecture allowed in the Garden District. The Greek Revival like this, the Queen Anne style, and the Italian style.
JFK.
Yep.
JFK, it was about the Kennedy conspiracy, the guy from New Orleans, he tried some... Anybody see it, JFK?
Yep.
Okay. Well, anyway, the real district attorney who really brought the case against and put that whole thing together at New Orleans taxpayers' expense was Jim Garrison. He lived in this house. Now, the guy that lived here with these big columns, this is what the French would call gauche. This is kind of like overdone, you know, tacky, that kind of stuff, but they're beautiful columns. But nonetheless, that's what they call them. The guy who built this house with this column, his name was Richard Pritchard. Now, you can play around with that name and come up with some really inappropriate things.
So this is Bourbon Street when it goes right off on a Saturday night. Now this is early. It's only about 6:30 at night, and the place is already absolutely buzzing. So later on, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Something like New Year's Eve. Every night. Crazy. Of course. A snake, why not? Rotten bloody things. Lucky that snakes are deaf.